Okay, welcome to episode 8 of Corey's Wall of Sound. Tonight I have a very special guest in Grant Dingley, and good to see you, mate.
Good, same. Corey, how are you, mate?
Very good, mate. We've known each other forever, feels like.
30 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
Somewhere thereabouts.
Meeting at the old Warwick Hotel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
89, 90.
Yeah, somewhere about there, mate. Yeah.
Now, we're going to do a special later on. We're going to do an AC/DC top 10, which is going to be really fun to do with you because every time I think of AC/DC, I've got to admit, I think of you.
Yeah, well, I suppose. Yeah, mate, yeah.
Obviously with the ABCD connection and Grant, as everyone knows, or may not know, sings for and has sung for AC/DC tribute bands doing the Bon Scott stuff and really well. And must admit, I did see a bit of footage the other day.
Look, old original bass player, Wayne, he goes by McGilla Moves at the moment. He actually dragged it up, and I personally had not seen that footage. And it was a promo that we shot at the Warwick Hotel when it was closed, and after hours thing that we shot for our manager to sell the band with.
Yep.
And I'd not actually laid eyes on that, so it was quite interesting. He put it up on Facebook. I'm not sure if he must have had it converted from VHS.
Yeah.
Because, in them days, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Fuck, I mean, a mobile phone was in your car if you were rich.
Yeah.
There was none of that shit. So
no.
I can't even remember. I have vague memories of it. But yeah, it was a bit of fun back then. Yeah. It's cool.
Let's go back a bit further. So you're a young kid growing up Scarborough?
Scarborough.
Were you in Girraween and that as well for a while?
No, I had quite a few mates there.
Yeah.
You spend a bit of time over that way, but
you're a Scarborough boy.
Yeah.
So what was it that made you go, I want to do that?
Well, I don't know if I sort of wanted to do it. I mean, I grew up going through high school and that every day after school. I mean, I was locked away in the bedroom listening to AC/DC.
Yeah.
On cassettes, or hanging with my mates. We listened to AC/DC flat out. And, I didn't intentionally put together an AC/DC band. It sort of went that way. I was in cover bands and, doing rock covers, whatever, doing some AC/DC songs and whatever was kind of what you did in a rock cover band back then. And I think we did AC/DC pretty well, and I think someone sort of said to us, you guys should maybe just do all AC/DC, and maybe I was probably absolutely massacring everything else and could only sing AC/DC. So someone was probably being nice and saying, hey, look, maybe just do AC/DC because you're fucking shit doing everything else. I don't know, but someone sort of said it to us. I can't remember who or how or why.
I think it was more of a natural thing for you.
Well, that's right. I mean, I grew up listening to it pretty much. It's like when you're a kid in your room, fuck, I just had that shit. I had a ghetto blaster and my father brought me for my 12th birthday, he bought me 2 cassettes. One was AC/DC TNT. The other one was Police Zenyatta Mondata.
Right.
And I had one of those ghetto blasters, right behind my head.
Yep.
And, you had the bed with the old headboards.
Yep.
That where you had all your tapes and shit lined up behind you and
stereo,
the lights in it and everything.
Yep.
And I used to go to sleep with the music on the radio. Radio and music was life when you're a kid,
course,
And I remember, I hadn't really heard of AC/DC, and I'll put it in. And I had one of those ghetto blasters that has it plays the reverse side, the tape decks,
Right.
And it was continuous, so you could press continuous and it would just keep playing the A
Jump
and
to
the
the
B
next
side
side,
all night.
Yep.
And I put the TNT album in and went to bed. And I woke up in the morning and no word of a lie, it was still going. I thought, I know all the words to this.
I was waiting for you to say that. Yeah.
And it was one of those, I guess, subliminal type things. I went to bed with it playing and I woke up and I was just like, fuck me, this tape, man, is off the hook, you know. And it just snowballed from there. It was like, I had to find everything AC/DC I could get my hands on back then. And you know, that was 1980, probably 1980. So they'd had 6 albums prior.
Yeah.
Von was already dead.
Yeah.
By a couple of months, which I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And didn't know anything about him. And at the time, I think Back in Black was just coming out.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I mean, all of us bogans at school, it was AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Metallica weren't really on the scene back then.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
It was just, everything was sort of changing a little bit back then. It was sort of going towards that metal scene, you know.
Yeah. The hair started getting longer and
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But so I mean, that's how I got into AC/DC, and for the band thing, I just stumbled into that.
Right.
I didn't actually go looking for a band. I mean, I was, you know, Rob Wood.
Right.
Was one of the original guitarists from Infrared.
Yep.
We were best mates.
Played in with Graham Smales in
he played
LA.
Yeah, that's right. And there was, I think, I can't remember, but that late 80s.
Yep.
But I mean, we went to school together. We lived in each other's pockets.
Yeah, right.
And our very first band was together literally in his back shed. He moved out of the house. He had a tin shed.
Yeah.
We set it up like his bedroom. And he had this amp. He didn't know what it does, or I can't remember. I think just quietly, I think we might have pinched it from somewhere.
Found it somewhere.
I don't know. Found it. I think we found it. I think we found it at a church.
Yeah, right. Okay. Funny that.
What do you do with this thing? I don't know.
Well, it shouldn't have been there.
Somehow he acquired a guitar and learned a couple of chords, and his brother Mark, I think, I can't remember if his brother played the drums or bass. I don't know. Might have been drums, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we just started, you know, playing shit in there. It's probably just jamming on Wild Thing or something.
Yeah.
You know,
which we all did.
And I mean, I was probably about 15 at the time, and you know, I mean, it was just, I guess things just snowballed from there.
Can you remember your first gig?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, it was at the Vegas Hotel.
Yeah, good old Vegas.
Yeah, which, you know, I don't know when that's now McDonald's, but it was at the Vegas Hotel. Yeah, I remember it well. We supported a band there. I can't remember what they were called, but I think we were pretty shit, to be honest. But I mean, we were all kids.
Of course.
And we were put together by a music school. So, you know, there was all these guys were being taught at the guitar and drums and everything, and they just needed a singer, and that's how I sort of fell into it. I didn't want to do it. I said, oh, no, but they kept sort of ringing me, and yeah, I mean, didn't look back from there pretty much.
Yeah. So how long was it between that and when Vicious Rumour started?
I'd say probably not too long. I mean, a couple of years. I put that band together. I think I actually got the sack from that first band.
Right.
Because I was pretty crap.
Yeah.
And they were progressing. Yeah. And I wasn't.
Yeah.
They were all having lessons, singing lessons, and they kept saying to me, oh, look, you know, go and have singing lessons. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need no singing
It's not
lessons.
very rock and roll.
Yeah. I don't know singing lessons. What the hell?
That's what a rock.
So I'm pretty sure I got the sack, I think.
Yeah.
So I did put something together, and I mean, in them days, you know, there was no internet or anything.
Exactly, it was a lot harder.
I think I got a list of musos from the remember the studio in Aussie Park?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Rowan. I think
yep, Rowan. The dogs.
Which was back then. I mean, there was that many studios you could rehearse at.
That's right. Yeah.
You know, so
a lot of people had ads up and stuff back in those days.
Yeah,
too.
but I mean, you either found the ads in the Sunday Times, or he used to print you off a list.
Yeah,
I think you could pay for it a couple of dollars, and
that's right. Yep.
And it was like a muso list of guitarists and
or home numbers too.
Yeah,
no mobiles back in those.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So you just sort of went through the list and started ringing dudes. Say, hey,
sorry, I don't live here anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. You got a lot of that. And it's like, hey man, I'm putting together a band. Are you interested? And it was that kind of thing. You know?
You got long hair?
Well, that was actually
Part
was a big thing. Yeah, for sure. Because that whole scene was, you know, about that at the time. But and so I did that, and we went through various changes. But the original guys I got was John Drew. He probably watched this. John, how are you,
John,
man?
how are you, mate?
He was actually the guy who started the original Infrared. He put that whole band together.
Yep.
His name, he formed it. The
I
whole
didn't
lot.
know that.
Yeah, him and another guy, Graham Burns. Graham, he might be on here. How are you, mate? Graham.
Was he a drummer?
No, he was guitarist as well.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
I got those two guys, and I mean, I was just a kid, and they were about 6 or 7 years older than me, and so they were a lot more experienced than me. They were
more street work.
Yeah, they'd done a lot more gigs than me. I mean, I don't know how many gigs I might have done at that stage, but I mean, I was a kid pretty much. And I thought, oh yeah, these guys are cool. Shit, they played in Infrared. That was a pretty big band. But I was a bit worried because they were like 25 or 26. I'm thinking, well, they're a bit old.
Yeah.
But they had long hair and they
rocked.
They had Marshalls and
of course.
guitars and they were good blokes. So I think they nurtured me quite a bit.
Yep.
And I think they sort of knew, oh, he's a bit average, but he's got something, so we'll just hang around with him. So we were. I don't know. We were together for a few years, and
well, that was the first time I've seen you.
Yeah,
at the Warwick, and I remember seeing a couple of shows, and the infamous blow up doll that used to bring up on stage. What was her name? Was that a name for her?
God, was that Vicious Rumour? Was it?
The Vicious Rumour band. You had the.
Yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember that. I mean, geez, I think
she was on a stand.
I think I forgot that for a reason.
Shouldn't I have
thinking back about it now? Because I totally forgot about that. So
just a quick side note: there would be a blow-up doll on a stand, if I remember rightly.
Well, we might have gaffed her to a mic stand,
and it was used as a prop in the show. And you'll give us the rundown of how that came about.
I don't know what we actually used it for, but
we actually didn't use it that I noticed.
I think
not in the right way.
I think she was used after.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Backstage,
of course. I mean, we're talking late '80s at the Warwick Hotel. It was probably used at some point.
Yeah. But yeah, interesting. I'd love to see a picture of that if there was one around because
I've got one in my head still.
Oh, good.
With the purple light in the background and you standing next to it.
Actually, I think now I remember we had a guy playing bass for us at the time, Dave Adams, who I'm friends with on Facebook, but I wouldn't have seen him in 30 odd years. So Dave, if you do watch this, how are you, mate? But he was a seedy bastard. And I would imagine, Dave,
seedy bastard.
I'd imagine he supplied the doll,
right?
Because I think he was like that kind of stuff. So I think that's where it came from, anyways. But,
she got him for free, though, obviously.
I don't know. Thinking back, I'd say he probably had a few of them.
We had a few stashed away.
I could be wrong.
In the guitar case.
Sorry, Dave, if I am.
So I think she came up, like you had a name for it, and I can't remember. I remember you telling me years later.
Oh, well, I can't remember that.
Yeah, but one song you brought her up for, I believe, and it was all about. It wasn't a whole lot of Rosie you did. Would it have been that?
It could have been. It could have been. I mean, I don't know if we did a lot of AC/DC in that band. I mean, because
you were doing originals too, weren't you?
I think we did a couple of originals. Yeah, we were sort of trying to write some stuff. We weren't real great at it, but we did write a few songs. And I think we did play a few of our own stuff. We might have even recorded them on an old. Remember the old 4-track recorders?
Oh yeah, the Tascam.
I'm pretty sure.
Got the old tape there.
Where you could you had 4 tracks to record, and then you could sort of bounce them down.
Yeah, double track them and
so
all
you
that.
Get actual 8 tracks.
Yeah.
So I think we might have done a few of those.
You still paid $800 to get it done back in those days.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think back then what we did is we recorded them. And the way you copyrighted things is you put it in an envelope.
Send it to yourself.
Yeah. Through the post system, just through Australia Post.
Yeah.
And then don't open it. And then that was classed as it's copywritten, that song. So I think we recorded a few songs, put them on the cassettes, whacked them in envelopes, and then post. I don't know if they're still around, or John might have 1 or 2 of them, or whatever. Yeah. But I mean, that's what you did back then. So.
There's probably people out there that have got rooms full of all
I mean, I wouldn't want to listen to them. Probably pretty average. But
it was so much harder to record back then because you had to know either or have money to go into a studio, or you had to know someone that could use a 4 or 8 track pretty well.
Yeah,
otherwise
much.
you were pretty much recording your gigs.
And I mean, I think we did that because, you know, that was a weird time in music, late 80s. I mean, the pub scene was dying. Pub rock was it was dying in the arse.
Yeah.
And there was an emerging original metal scene at the time in Perth, and it was pretty fucking good, you know. Yeah. There was a lot of good bands around at the time.
A lot of them up there, actually. All over the place, but yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of your band up
there. Obviously.
Deadlock,
Deadlock, you know those guys. You know those guys real well. Deadlock, all the Deadlock people out there.
Yeah.
There'd be a couple watching, I would imagine.
Yeah, Sean
and
Bunsen.
Yeah.
How are you? But yeah, there was a few. There was Massacre. Remember them guys?
Yeah, I do remember them. Yeah.
I mean, you had the old Melbourne Hotel, which was playing, you know,
Cremator. Yeah. All those real heavy bands. Yeah.
So there was a real scene. It was a bit underground, but it was a pretty sort of cool scene at the time. So there was lots of shit happening. Pub rock was dying. We were trying to be a pub rock band who were pretty average in a dying scene.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't great at writing our own stuff. So I think that's how the AC/DC emerged. Like someone offered to manager. He said, "Look, you guys great to AC/DC. I'll manage you." Pretty much. And he was a shifty Sicilian with a
I remember
shotgun in the boot of his car.
Are we talking about the same bloke?
Yeah. I mean, he was.
G'day, how are you?
Carl. I mean,
Carl.
Bless him.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a big heart.
Yeah.
And he was a big dreamer.
Yeah.
And he had big dreams for us, but you know, I mean, not a lot happened. But anyways,
he's a publican.
Pretty much he was. But you know, he gave us a great start. He supplied production, and he shot videos for us, and he said, "You're going to do this, and you boys are going to do this, and we're going to be this."
Yeah.
So, and at the time, I mean, there wasn't tribute bands.
No.
I mean,
not at all.
There was nothing. You had the Zet Boys, which were just in Adelaide, and I think they were just coming over to Perth occasionally. And I mean, they're fucking awesome, and they're still going.
Yeah, absolutely.
To me, I mean, I look at them as the best tribute band ever.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
In Australia, maybe even the world.
Yeah.
Because they were one of the first to do it.
Yep. There might have been an ABBA one or something around the same time too, maybe.
Maybe, but I think for me, Zet Boys were the first.
Yeah.
The very first.
Yeah.
So, you know, we copped a lot of shit for that, and a lot of gigs we were playing to nobody, and, you know, people were just basically dumping shit on us, an AC/DC band and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I mean, we loved doing it. It was all, the guys that were in that band were all people that grew up on AC/DC.
You know, you could tell.
We didn't have to try. It was like, you know, this is in us.
Yeah.
This is what we were kids growing up singing in our bedroom. So,
and I think that's what kind of in a way lacks with a lot of the newer bands that are coming out doing the same thing. Is that
I agree.
You've got younger guys in there that sure they probably grew up listening to it because of their mum and dad, but because I guess they didn't come through that period, there's some kind of realism that is missing from it. If you know what I mean.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, we didn't do it for money or
no.
I mean as you know, I mean, after a few years we were together, it really took off.
Yeah.
And I mean,
early 90s, tribute bands were coming out.
And I think that happened because
even I'm guilty of it.
Yeah. What were you?
The Skid Row one.
Oh yeah, of course. So
3 shows only though.
Well, I mean, look, there was Midnight Oil tribute bands. I mean,
Black Sabbath.
There was bands that had done. I mean, nowadays I've seen a Baby Animals tribute band. I mean, give me a fucking break. Sorry, but
you know what? I've got to agree with you there. And the one thing that, and I know there's a lot of tribute bands out there, and it's the ones that are trying to play all the time and just trying to rake in the money. I feel like in a way it's like it's almost like a parasite.
Well, I mean, look, you know, I mean, I now that I'm an old bastard, I think any music you're making and performing, it doesn't matter if it's your own, if it's someone else's, if you're making people happy and they're enjoying your music, that's all that matters. Nothing else really matters. But, you know, I think there was a time there where after us, I mean, I know, because we toured with a lot of them. They were coming from the East Coast to Perth.
Like the Kiss ones.
Because Perth had the big tribute scene, and I kind of feel that ABCD started that a little bit.
Yep.
And yet we had Pearl Jam ones, because then the grunge, of course came along.
Yeah.
So there was
Nirvana
Pearl Jam
ones
tributes, Nirvana, Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
And I mean, that all sort of died in the mid to sort of late 90s.
Yeah.
It was dead. And it's back again now, as you know. And I mean, to me, it's an indication of that the live music scene's dead.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what tribute bands mean to me now.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah, because time a dozen, I guess. And
because they're the only ones pulling people. And I mean, if they're pulling people to a pub, well, then pubs are only going to book those tribute bands.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess musicians have to do what they have to do if they want to perform or if they want to earn money, as long as there's a bit of integrity. And they're not just going, hey, that band was pretty popular, let's do a tribute. You know, I've seen a Baby Animals one. I mean, what a great band. Susie DiMarchi, awesome Perth person.
You
know, Frank Salanza, those, they're all Perth people.
Great music.
And they were a great band. She rocked hard, but I mean, they sort of had one or two minor hits in Australia.
Yeah.
And a couple of albums.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth doing a tribute band.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a number of those
that
did it. When we put our tribute band together, it was like, well, we want to play the music, but we want it to sound like it too. We want to look like it too. We want a whole show.
And you didn't have to wear wigs back then either.
Well,
which helps.
But you know, it was important to us. I mean, the guys playing guitar, John and Graham and various members over the journey. I mean, they put authentic pickups in their guitars.
With the whole
same, and
same levels on the amps.
No foot pedals.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
It was just like you know.
Well, back then, do you think it was more like, okay, we're doing this because it's fun. Sure, we might make a little bit of money out of it, but hey, we're doing our favourite band. We're going to have fun.
Well,
where now it's more like, oh, we've got to make a living doing.
Well, I think I think there's a bit of that. I mean, there's plenty of good tribute bands out there. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I see them all the time now. And I think. I see them on YouTube and I think, fuck, these guys are good, man. You know, they're real good. And then I see some and I just think, oh, Jesus, man, like, go away, you know. But there is some good ones. So, I mean, it's probably a similar scene to what it was. But, you know, I mean, the music scene, it's not great, the live music scene.
Non-existent almost.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, obviously now's not a good time for it anyway. But it'll be interesting to see how people take it back when we are able to go out and do stuff a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whether people really embrace it or whether they still keep away, that'll be an interesting thing.
I think people are wanting to get out, but I think it's going to be a bit of a kick in the guts, to be honest. I think, because I don't think that live music scene is going to get any better.
Yeah. And imagine all the people that we know that have pretty much relied on music nearly their whole lives to make money.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that have gone through the last few months and
it's shit house. Yeah, absolutely shit house. I mean, I feel for them because they haven't been looked after in this,
of course,
you know, by the government. They've just been sort of kicked to the side, and which is pretty crappy. So I hope that when it does come, that you know these guys can get out there and play again. And, I mean, I see a lot of them are adapting. And you know they're doing these live shows online where you can pay to watch it, which I think is great. And if you're not doing that, and if you've just sat by for the last few months, you're sort of making your own destiny. I think you need to be out there and doing what you know all entertainers and that are doing. It's like, well, the internet's the future. I mean, if we can't get out there and play, we'll put a show on online.
And it's like with motor racing, like they can't race, so they're doing all this e-racing online.
Yeah, I see that.
And I think, you know, it's kind of opened up a lot of new ideas for musos and all that to do stuff like that. So if anything was to go wrong again in the future, at least they go, well, we're going to go back to going online or keep that going.
Well, I think that will be, I mean, it will probably be forever now as a part of the music industry. There will be bands that they might not be performing as much live, but every now and again they're going to do hey, log on, $20, and you can watch it.
And the good thing about that, I guess, is that the bands are in control. There's no publican, there's no booking agent or anything like that. So everything's more direct. And I think with the way the music scene was heading before all the corona kicked in anyway, I always thought if there was a way that the musicians themselves can take control over the scene, kind of in a way, I guess, like having raves out in the middle of nowhere, almost on that level where they're creating their own thing.
Yeah, I think the internet, it's evolving that way anyway.
Yeah.
Because agents, I mean, they're a middleman. Yeah. And they're a necessary evil.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've all had experiences with, but I mean, the internet in so many other industries is cutting that middleman out.
Yeah.
They're going away.
Yeah.
They're not needed anymore.
No.
Whether it's in retail, it's wholesale suppliers.
Everything's more direct now.
You can be more direct now. And I think that same thing is happening with agents.
Yeah.
A publican can just get on now and look at a band's Facebook page and their YouTube channel and everything and just direct message them straight away. You don't need to pay, an agent doesn't need to take their 15% or whatever. I mean, they're still necessary to a point, but I think moving forward, a lot of the shittier little agents will go, and there'll be a few sort of major agents for the big acts coming over. But I think for the local scene, a lot of it will be direct.
Yeah, more direct.
To that, which is a good thing because it's more money for the musicians straight in their pocket. I mean, it's a shame about the agents, but it's like everything. We just have to evolve.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You're not evolving, well, then that's your bad luck. So.
Yeah. So, okay, so after ABCD, you were doing that for quite a few years, and I think on and off again over the last 20 years, I guess.
Well, look, I moved to Queensland.
Yeah.
I thought the band had pretty much, that whole scene was pretty much done, and I was sort of going in a bit of a different direction.
Yeah.
But we were still pretty much doing all the big bike shows.
Yeah.
So with the tattoo
hotel,
type of shows.
I
mean, look, I was living in Queensland. One of the guitarists was over there as well. So I mean, those guys, the bike clubs were happy to fly us over and pay for us to come over. So we would just come over and do a few shows. I thought, well, if we're going to do a bike show, we might do a week on the road or 2 weeks on the road while we're here. And I mean, it just sort of slowly faded away. I was in a cover band in Queensland, and we sort of hit the road and went up north and played up in Cairns and did a few things over there. And life changes, I suppose. And it wasn't such an important thing for me anymore. I was getting a bit older and a bit like, fuck. Another night, another town.
Yeah, I mean, because what I remember of you always is that obviously I knew you from the music scene and you doing gigs and shit, but you were like bricklaying or doing roofing or something for years. So you were really kind of working both the ends of the candle at the same time type thing, weren't you?
Oh, mate, look.
In a physical way,
It took me 22 years to get out of that shit. But I got out of it. But look, I mean, I was never earned a living out of music. And you know what? To be honest, I didn't give a rat's ass.
Yeah.
I did it because I loved it.
I know what you mean.
I did it because I loved performing.
Yeah.
I loved seeing people out there getting off on it. And I enjoyed it. You know what it's like, man. When you're on stage and you nail a song, and that feeling.
And also, when you're a kid in your bedroom and you've got that stereo behind you playing TNT all night and you're going, I want to do this, you're not thinking about where you're going backstage and collecting the money off.
It was never money, but I mean, then it gets to the point, obviously, where it's like, well, fuck, I'm flying 4,000 Ks to do this gig. I want some money.
Of course.
I'm not going to do it for free because you've sold however many tickets, so I want something. But, the money was never great money, but
as long as it was a bar tab though.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they do that much these days.
No,
I mean,
most don't even give water out these days.
No, look,
crazy.
I think that the end of it for me was I was playing in when I moved back to Perth in 2003,
yep,
I thought, all right, so everyone said, oh, you're going to put the band back in? I said, no, not really. I'd rather do something different. So I joined a band which was a covery corporate type, you know, and we did a lot of shitty stuff.
Who was that again? Because I think I was trying
we
to.
had a couple of names. One was called Rocket, and then I think we evolved. Right. It was called Gen X.
Yeah. Because when I was working from the promotions, I
think we
trying
might
to reach out and try and book you
might
guys.
have been with Brian Davis.
I was going to.
Yeah,
I'd be there. If he's watching.
No, Brian.
Yeah, Brian.
He's still going.
I think he's retired.
Harley, we used to call him.
Yeah,
Harley Davidson.
Yeah, I think Sean runs it now, his son. But
okay.
Obviously, there's nothing been going on, so
yeah,
don't know how they're going. But yeah,
like I did that. Probably did that for maybe 10 years. 7, 8. I don't know. We were playing pretty much every week, and we're doing a lot of corporate stuff. And you know, one night, you know, we were doing gigs at the Birds, we were in fancy hotels.
Yeah.
For football clubs and all that kind of thing, and they're a bit boring.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, that's when you're doing it for the money.
Yep.
And I was never in it for the money, but it sort of got to that point. It's like, you know, we were doing a gig. We had a residency in a pub in Fremantle, Rodeo Grady.
Oh, yep.
And you know, it's a beer barn. Everyone in there, it's packed to the rafters. Everyone's shit faced, falling over, doing shooters.
Yeah.
We're there every Friday night, and it was a good fun gig. And we're there, I think it was a New Year's Eve, and you know, full house. And you know, I'm a bit of a down to earth type of front man. I always connect to the audience, and I keep it real.
Yeah.
And I said once, how's everyone? I said something along the lines of, how's everyone going? Anyone pissed yet? And you know, 500 people raised their hands. Pouring beer everywhere.
It's 3 in the morning.
Anyways, our agent that was booking the show contacted us a day or two later. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Brian. Contacted
If it was Rodeo Grady's, it would have been. I think,
and said, I've had a complaint from the managers there saying that you mentioned alcohol on stage.
You're in a pub?
Basically, they said to us, if you mention alcohol again on stage, you're fired.
Right.
That was a real turning point for me, because here we are at this pub where they're serving people shooter after shooter. They're rolling around and spew on the floor.
Yeah.
I'd mentioned alcohol on the stage, and they threatened to fire us. So I think for me, it was a bit of a wake-up call, like, wow.
Things have changed.
The industry has changed to the point. I mean, we no longer, and there was another gig we were playing in Subi we had every week as well. We had the one in Freo on Friday, and then Saturday night we had a pub in Subi, which was another Irish bar.
Yeah.
And got there one, and I never got drunk on stage, but we were allowed to have, I think it was 2 beers each that they would give us. And our drummer, Gav, he used to get there early and set his drums up, and he would pretty much drink everyone's
drink before they
fucking ration.
Yeah.
So I just get there and I go to the bar. Can I just get a schooner or whatever on the bandstand? Oh no, you've already had yours. No more. That's it.
Right.
I just got here. I haven't had a beer.
Hang on a minute.
No, you guys did no more beers for the band tonight. I mean, and that kind of, it was that period then where I was thinking, it's not fun anymore. I like to have a few beers to warm up. I don't want to be treated like I'm some sort of fucking idiot.
It's taking the rock and roll out of rock and roll.
You know, like, I don't want to be treated like I'm some sort of alcoholic. I have a couple of beers to loosen up before I go on, and that's it. I drink water all night. So, I mean, things have just changed. I mean, I sort of understand why it's gone that way, that the industry's gone a lot more professional.
Well, it's a different place too in so many ways.
Yeah, totally. And I think that was a turning point for me. That's when I sort of thought, you know, I'm quite happy to do not much.
Yeah.
You know, just sit home and play my guitar.
My turning point was very similar to that. It's me booking bands. Had the Craftsman down in Cannington.
Yeah.
And the normal band we sent to Kalgoorlie, So we put in another band that had been playing Kalgoorlie and other places. And anyway, I got a phone call the evening they were playing, and they were like, Corey. I'm like, yeah. They go, oh, the manager's just come up while we're setting up, looked at our set list, and got a pen and went, nope. And when they told me that, I'm sitting on the phone going, same thing's what you're saying. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You know, and this is just stuff like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, bit of AC/DC, you know, but the pub manager's coming up and changing their set list. That to me was like,
I've been there as well.
Yeah,
similar situations in Cairns with nowhere else to go.
Imagine if that happened at the Warwick. While you're about to do it. Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, I think things have changed a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's good in some ways. I guess probably the quality of bands out there now is probably a lot better than back in our day.
Yeah,
because there was a lot of venues. So any band could get a gig. You know, they were just looking for bands all the time.
Yeah.
Now there's so few venues, and for every one venue, there probably is 200 or 300 bands
trying to get in
that want to do that one crappy little Friday night gig.
Yeah. In the corner of the Irish pub where they just move tables out the way.
And you know, I mean, you know, it's like the music, the PA now. I mean, we used to have a whole truck with a great big double
four-ways, exactly, with horns and that on top.
And I mean, nowadays it's just a little JBL on a stand.
Yeah,
that's
set up 2 minutes, bang, there you go.
You know, so things have changed.
But you know what? I'm glad that, I'm pretty sure you are too, that we actually grew up in the period that we did. Because
I mean, look, we're going to have tinnitus. We're going to be deaf.
Got a bit of that already.
Same.
You don't listen to that and not get that.
Look, I mean, it's great. You know, I did a few songs with a band a couple of 6 weeks ago or something with an AC/DC band, and
I was going to ask you about that. You give us a rundown of where you're at now, and
well, I'm not doing anything now. I mean, I might have a couple of gigs coming up, just helping out a band.
Yep.
Just doing a bit of a special guesty thing.
Yep.
But I won't talk about that too much. Because what's going on? I mean, gigs are getting postponed.
Exactly. No one knows what's going on.
We don't know what's happening at the moment with that. But it was good to get up there. And, I mean, the guy who was mixing was an old mate of mine, Bob DeWolf.
I remember Bobby.
Bob DeWolf.
Yeah, Bob.
Watch how
he mixed me many times at the Planet place.
Bobby the Wolf. Yes, the Planet. Another great venue. And, you know, he's old school.
Oh, absolutely.
He's just fucking loud.
Yeah.
You know, and it just...
I think that's why we loved him.
It's really good.
Who's mixing? Bobby. Yep, cool. I'm done.
He's one of the last ones around.
Yeah.
And I mean, those sort of systems, I mean, we were using them week in, week out, you know.
Anywhere you played, they had them.
Yeah, two or three crew lugging them in.
Yeah.
Taking a house to set them up.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess technology's changed, so you can get a similar sound out of a lot more compact system.
A lot more lighter systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. But before we end, give us a rundown. Obviously not roof tiling anymore or doing any of that hard yakka work that you were doing, but you have got your own business now. So give a plug.
Look, I mean, I've got a clothing store with the missus.
Scarborough?
Yeah, we've had it 15 years. She looks after all the buying and all the store. We've got a physical store.
Yep.
Call it a bricks and mortar store these days.
Yep. Which is on Scarborough Beach Road.
Yep.
And the company's called?
Milk,
of course.
Anyways, we sell girls' clothes. But I look after all the website side of it. So that's pretty good, actually. Got me out of roof tiling and, you know, built the website and sort of do that. So I sit in an office, which is pretty cool because I can come and go where I want to go.
You got the cafe right next door.
Pop
down and had one with you one time there.
Yeah, I can just sit there and just post stupid shit on Facebook and look like a dickhead all day.
It's a lot better than being on a roof.
I tell you what, man, it's way better than busting my hump on a roof.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, man, it's been great having you on, and obviously we're going to do the next part of the episode, which is going to be the AC/DC Top 10, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, cool.
So we'll get onto that pretty soon. But yeah, man, thanks for coming along.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for
having a chat.
Yeah, awesome.
No worries. So take it easy, and we'll catch up with Grant really soon with the Top 10 AC/DC.
Rock on.